Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. In the name of God, whose grace I seek in this and all things, I to start with a warm welcome in the direct language. Warami Budyari Nadi Unyam Darab Nagua, which means hello. Good to see you all on Darug country. I acknowledge the Darug people as the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather today, and I pay my respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. I also want to acknowledge Indigenous peoples across the world who are experiencing conflict, oppression, and war in various regions. As we come together, we hold them in our hearts and we pray for peace, for healing, and for a future where all people live free from fear and violence. So today, we are 17 days into Ramadan. Depends on how you're counting. आज का रोजा मिलाना है या कल का? मुझे पता है मेरे बच्चे तो गिन रहे हैं. But when we think about Ramadan is a time that's dedicated to spiritual growth, to self-healing, and deep reflection. This time, it invites us to turn inward, where fasting and prayer help us to detach from our distractions and focus on our deeper selves. So, it really is incumbent on us as individuals to strive to be the best version of ourselves and to ensure that we surround ourselves with people who uplift us. This spiritual self-awareness is crucial, especially when we're dealing with a narcissistic relationship. तो रमजान में तो हमें कहा जाता है ना, लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, हमें कहा जाता है कि हम रूहानी तौर पे अंदर जाएं, अल्लाह से एक रिश्ता बनाएं. लेकिन अगर हम अपने आप को बेहतर कर रहे हैं, अब वो रिश्ता कायम कर रहे हैं, लेकिन अगर हमारे इर्द गिर्द और हमारे माहौल में ऐसे रिश्ते हैं जो हमें तकलीफ देते हैं, जिसकी वजह से हम इमोशनल अब्यूज जो है टॉलरेट कर रहे होते हैं, तो फिर हमारे ऊपर क्या जिम्मेदारी है? हमारी जिम्मेदारी क्या है उन रिश्तों में उनको मैनेज करने का? तो ये मैं अकेले तो नहीं करूँगी. I'm going to have the help of my wonderful panelists. So I'm going to introduce them. मैं उनको पहले introduce करूँगी, and then उनसे सवालात करेंगे. तो मेरे साथ from my left, I have the wonderful Dr. Yasmin Khan. She's a medical doctor, a medical professional, and director of Shogun Khanum Foundation. Next to her is the wonderful Maxine Simmons. She's a CEO of multiple not-for-profits. She's a community leader and a mental health advocate. And rounding us off, most importantly, in getting that male perspective, we've got Shafqat Ali, who's the founder of Young Innovators Australia Inc., which is all about STEM learning and youth leadership. So आइए उनसे बात करते हैं. Thank you so much to all three of you for joining us today. It's a very important topic, है ना? बहुत ही अहम conversation है. Thank you so much अली भाई कि आपने ये conversation हमें करने दिया, क्योंकि कौन बात करता है? हम खाने के बारे में बात कर लेंगे, obviously shopping भी enjoy करेंगे, लेकिन जो चीज़ रोजमर्रा में हमारे घरों में हो रही होती है, हमारी जिंदगी में हो रही होती है, जो रिलेशनशिप टॉक्सिक होती हैं, उसके बारे में हम कब बात करते हैं? अब्यूज ऐसी चीज़ है कि ज़्यादातर हम छुपाते हैं, क्योंकि हम ये नहीं जाहिर करना चाहते कि वो हमें कितनी तकलीफ देता है. So let's start with Dr. Yasmin. Dr. Yasmin, what is narcissism? What is a narcissist? What is a narcissistic behavior, right, in terms of a person who's narcissistic, and what are their traits and those key signs?
Thank you, Abda. So, इसी टॉपिक पे narcissism, if I have to redefine it in Urdu, मैं कहूँगी खुद परस्ती. हर موضوع پہ، ہر بات پہ اپنے آپ پہ شروع کرنا اور اپنے آپ پہ ختم کرنا. اس کے بہت سارے فیسٹس ہوتے ہیں، اس کے بہت سارے ٹریڈز ہوتی ہیں، لیکن میں سائیکائٹرسٹ نہیں ہوں، آئی ایم اے ڈاکٹر. لیکن اس کی کچھ فیچرز ہوتے ہیں جو ہم کہتے ہیں پرسنالٹی کے ٹریڈز بناتے ہیں. سو اس میں آتا ہے لائک ایز آئی سیڈ خود پرستی، ہر چیز اپنے پہ شروع کرنا اور اپنے ہی پہ ختم کرنا. سو ہیونگ ایکچولی کسی کو گلٹ میں رکھنا، ریلیشن شپس کو گلٹ میں رکھنا، اپنا اینگل اس کو ترجیح دینا، کسی اور کی بات کو نظر انداز کرنا، اور اسپیشلی ان کے ایموشنس کو، نہیں نہیں تم غلط محسوس کر رہی ہو، نہیں نہیں تمہیں غلط لگ رہا ہے، کسی کو انویلیڈیٹ کرنا، ان کی رائے کو، ان کے وجود کو رد کرنا، اور پھر انہیں کو کہنا کہ آپ کو ایسے لگ رہا ہے. اس کو ہم انگریزی میں گیس لائٹنگ کہتے ہیں، کہ آپ کسی کو یہ بتاتے ہیں کہ جو مفروضے تم نے خود قائم کیے ہیں وہ کسی سینیریو پہ بیس نہیں ہے، یہ تمہارے خود اپنے ذہن کی یا پرسنالٹی کی خامیاں ہیں جس وجہ سے تم یہ محسوس کر رہے ہو یا کر رہی ہو. یہ جو ساری ٹریڈس ہیں، جیسے کہ آپ نے کہا، ہم لوگ ساری باتیں کرتے ہیں گھر میں، ہم کرتے ہیں بچوں کی تعلیم کی بات، ہم بات کرتے ہیں بچوں کی شادیوں کی بات، لیکن ہم ایموشنل ریگولیشن کی بات نہیں کرتے. ہم بات کرتے ہیں گڈ بیہیویئر اور بیڈ بیہیویئر، گڈ ایتھکس اینڈ بیڈ ایتھکس پہ، لیکن سیلف ریگولیشن اور پھر اس کا ایگزامپل کرنا شاید بہت اچھے ٹائم پہ یہ کانورسیشن اب اس کمیونٹی میں اب شروع ہو.
تھینک یو سو مچ. کتنی بہترین انسائٹس تھیں. ڈاکٹر یاسمین، جسٹ آن ایکسٹینشن آف دیٹ، آپ ذرا بتا سکتی ہیں کہ یہ جو خود پرستی ہوتی ہے اور یہ جو اگر ہم اس ریلیشن شپ میں ہیں، اب کسی طور کی ریلیشن شپ ہو، میاں بیوی کے درمیان میں، یا ہمارے دوست، ورک پلیسز میں، we're surrounded by these sort of relationships and you can identify toxic people and behaviors. یہ جو abusive tendencies ہے جس کا آپ نے بتایا، gaslighting, victimization، نظر انداز کرنا، سائلنٹ ٹریٹمنٹ کرنا، یہ جب چیزیں ہم کیا کہتے ہیں ہم ایکسپیرئنس کرتے ہیں تو ہمارے خود پہ فزیکلی، مینٹلی what are the impacts on us؟
بہت سارے ہیں. ایک تو ہم وہ ریل اپنے ذہن میں چلاتے رہتے ہیں کہ میرا کسی کے ساتھ انٹریکشن تھا اور اس انٹریکشن میں سے میں اپنے آپ کو کم تر محسوس کر رہی ہوں، یا اس انٹریکشن میں میں شرمندہ ہوئی ہوں، یا اس انٹریکشن میں میں بالکل غائب ہو گئی. سو ایک تو آپ کو یہ لگے گا کہ میری ذات اس میں سے یا امبیرس ہوئی ہے، یا مائنس ہوئی ہے، یا بالکل ہی اگنور ہو گئی ہے، آپ کو محسوس ہوگا. دوسرا، دماغ میں ریل چلتی رہتی ہے کہ شاید میں نے کسی ایک تو آپ انکاؤنٹر پلے کرتے ہیں اور پھر آپ سوچتے ہیں کہ کیا ٹریگر میری طرف سے آیا تھا. آپ اپنے آپ ریفلیکٹ کرتے ہیں، محمد سبھی کرتے ہیں کہ میں نے کیا کیا، شاید میں نے بھی غلط بولا. یعنی وہ آپ کو اس رول میں ایسے ڈالتے ہیں کہ جیسے سارا کنٹریبیوٹنگ فیکٹر آپ کی طرف سے آیا ہے اور آپ ہی ہیں پرابلم کا فوکس، اور حل بھی آپ ہیں، پرابلم بھی آپ ہیں، اگلا پرفیکٹ ہے. یعنی کہنا آپ بہت سینسیٹیو ہے. میں تو مذاق کر رہی تھی، لیکن مذاق وہ ہے جس سے آپ کی ذات کو تکلیف نہ ہو، آپ کی عزت کو تکلیف نہ ہو، آپ اپنے آپ کو کم نہ محسوس کریں، آپ کو بھی ہنسی آئے یا کسی اور کو نہ لگے کہ اس میں یاسمین بڑی ہوگی، آتا چھوٹی ہوگی. تو ایک تو یہ کہ باقی ایک ایموشنلی یہ ہے، مینٹلی پھر اس ریل کو چلانا، اور پھر اپنا سیلف کانفیڈینس اسی حساب سے ہر بار کوشچن میں لانا کہ ہاں شاید مجھے بات بھی کرنی آتی ہے، یا شاید میں ہی بہت ایموشنل، میں ہی غلط. اور کسی اور کے لیے بار بار بہانے بنانا. جب کوئی بار بار ہمیں ایک ہی طرح ٹریٹ کر رہا ہے، اس کو बार बार बहाने बना के कहना कि नहीं बेचारा आजकल स्ट्रेस है या वो वही कि ये हालात जा रहे हैं। ठीक है, एक दफा हो गया। अब मोमेंट पर्सनैलिटी इश्यूज में हम एक ओकेजन पे नहीं कहते, हम फ्रेंड्स देखेंगे कि किसी का रवैया मुसलसल आपके साथ कैसे। और इसका ये मतलब नहीं है कि 10 मौकों में से हर मौके पे उनका रवैया अजीब था। 8 दफा भी हो सकता है, 2 दफा आपके ज़हन में डाउट रहेगा, इसलिए आप रिश्ता खत्म नहीं करेंगे या दूरी नहीं डालेंगे। आप कहेंगे नहीं, शायद नहीं गलत, मैंने कुछ गलत समझा।
Beautifully said. तो I think मेरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग जो डॉक्टर यास्मीन कह रही है कि ये जो बिहेवियर्स है नार्सिसिस्टिक, वो इमोशनली हमें इस तरह इम्पैक्ट करती हैं कि हम अपने आप जो हमारी जजमेंट है उसी को क्वेश्चन करने बैठ जाते हैं। एंड यू नो व्हाट ends up happening, you end up having more of an inclination towards depression. जो लोग नार्सिसिज्म की शिकार होते हैं वो डिप्रेशन उनके अंदर हाई होता है, they have higher anxiety, they have a low self-esteem, उनकी self worth जो है काफी लो होती है, and उनकी mental health जो है it slowly deteriorates being in that relationship क्योंकि वो अपने आप को इतना they give so much of themselves and they don't realize that it's really about being controlled. So thank you, Dr. Yasmin. I'm going to move on to Maxine G. And Maxine G, could you help us and talk to us about if you're a person, right, who's caught in a narcissistic relationship with someone who is emotionally abusive, sometimes it's not as easy as saying, hey, bas aap, rishte khatam kar dein. Kyunki kabhi it's not that easy that you just break, that relationship altogether. What are your strategies for dealing with a relationship like that?
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. My Urdu is not that perfect, so I will speak in English. Doctor's sister has answered many things, Abidaji. Thank you. I like that emotional abuse doesn't always leave bruises, but leave scars. So this type of abuse is leaving scars. So when there is scars, we have to decide, am I worth it? Why is this scar on me? How will I get rid of it? You have to think of yourself that you are so fortunate to be born. Allah has created you. So how beautiful it is. Why would another person be taking over you? You have to think, how will I heal myself? So all those things, it's not, as Abidaji has said, it's not easy to block it. It's there, it's running in your head. So I was a victim of domestic violence, and I'm going to talk. So when I was a victim, I was pregnant to a baby, and I had a 3.5-year daughter. And I was a victim of abuse, the victim and violence. So I thought, no, I have to love myself and I have to live for my children. How will I defend this? How will I create it? So I thought, no, this person who's abusing me is not worth it. That's what I told my mind. And that when I told myself, this person is not worth it, I'm going to live for myself and for my children, I started healing myself. So that day was my healing point. I turned around and I said, now I'm going to do whatever I am satisfied and happy with. So I didn't have to cook food 3 times a day and make sure the table is ready. No, who cares? I didn't care. I made sure my children were fed and I was looking after myself. You have to stand up for yourself and you have to thank Allah that He created you, and this is so beautiful. You cannot harm yourself or cannot take that bruises in you and make it, painful and deteriorate you, and then you collapse there. Now you have to heal yourself. There's a lot of different ways to heal. I created that. I went and devoted my mind of saving women, looking after women. I started advocating women that this is how you have to live. You have to get out of the system. That doesn't mean you have to leave the man, but you have to get out of this solution. My partner used to abuse me in front of people. That was insulting. And I felt so little. And the sorry, next day was a sorry. But that didn't heal me. It became, the scar was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I thought, no. When, if Allah loves you, you don't have to need a love from a person next to you. No, you have to Be focused to yourself. That's how I got out.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Maxine Ji, for talking us through a lived experience. It is really tied in beautifully with how Dr. Yasmin actually talked about what those elements of abuse were. When establishing boundaries, Maxine Ji, okay, so you went towards the path of healing. It's not an easy path. बड़ी मुशक्कत का काम है आपको recognize करना है कि you are in an abusive relationship. बात हम इतनी अति होते हैं कि हमारा काम ही सर्विस है कि हम दूसरों के लिए जीते हैं कि हम ये भूल जाते हैं कि अल्लाह ताला ने हमारे लिए ये भी बहुत अहम लिखा है कि पहले हम अपने आप का ख्याल रखें. तो फौरन आपको महसूस तो होगा मगर आप उसको आवाज नहीं दे पाएंगे. तो मैक्सीन जी, आपने आइडेंटिफाई कि आप अब्यूसिव रिलेशनशिप में हैं. आपने कैसे, how did you establish those boundaries and what did you do?
I told myself and I spoke to my Allah and I said, you made me so beautiful. I'm going to live. I'm not going to be, condemned by any individual, whether it's my own father or my own brother or my own husband. I'm going to live because you want me to live. You born me because you wanted me to live. So that's where the boundary was. That's how I decided.
We decided. How, especially, there's a lot of people, men and women, who feel that giving up of themselves, right, and running from an empty cup is a form of service. How can we clarify the difference, please?
Because we are more thinking ki log kya kahenge, or how will our community look at us? They will look small at us. Ki, oh, he's in a broken home, she's got a broken home, she's a divorced. But do you want to worry about the world? When we are sick, when something's happening to us, what we do? We ask Allah to help us. So that's how I felt. I don't have to worry how they're judging me. I wanted Allah to judge me, what I wanted to become. That's how I got over it.
Thank you very much. So this has been an extraordinary conversation, even from my part. And I've kind of even done a bit of research into this, but just hearing these accounts has really provided so much insight. Now I'm going to come to Shafqat Bhai, because सबसे अहम सवाल मैं समझती हूँ कि हमने ये तो तय कर लिया कि नार्सिसिस्टिक बिहेवियर क्या होती है. हमने ये भी तय कर लिया कि हमारे इर्द गिर्द कौन से ऐसे लोग हैं जो हमें इमोशनली अब्यूज करते हैं. बाय द वे, इमोशनल अब्यूज जो है सबसे गहरा अब्यूज होता है. हम कहते हैं और उसको टॉलरेट करते हैं क्योंकि कहते हैं चलो पिटते तो नहीं है, हमें मार तो नहीं पड़ रही, इमोशनल जो है चल जाएगा. लेकिन हमें ये एहसास नहीं होता कि वो कितना गहरा जो है जख्म होता है, एज मैक्सीन जी से. लेकिन ये लोग आते कैसे हैं, ये बनते कैसे हैं? हाउ डू यू हैव अ पर्सन in your life that's narcissistic, whether it's a friend or a spouse or a co-worker? तो ये मैं सवाल आपसे करूंगी क्योंकि आप बच्चों के साथ अपने अहम काम करते हैं. You are the CEO of Young Innovators. How do we, first of all, identify these patterns when it comes to intergenerational trauma? क्योंकि इसी तरह होता है, हम लोग नार्सिसिस्टिक इसलिए बनते हैं क्योंकि हमने खुद ने भी ट्रॉमा एक्सपीरियंस करा होता है. लेकिन बच्चों के हवालों से हम आगे जो generations हैं, how do we make them more emotionally aware, more emotionally intelligent, so we have less of these toxic people that we're surrounded by? Shafqat.
Thank you. The first thing I want to add, because of my perspective and the technology, that emotional abuse is not limited to the closed doors or in a house anymore. It's extended to our pockets, to online as well. So we have now trolling, we have the likes, dopamine injections, we have e-bullying now as well. So this is very important to know that this is not limited to our face-to-face interpersonal relationship. We also exposed to, a nasty comments on my post can ruin my day. Why that person did. The second thing,
Thank you for highlighting that, because there's a lot of toxicity online and managing those relationships can be very hard. So please.
Because sometime over here, my wife's talking to someone that why did she post that in a friend's WhatsApp group, and now the whole day going around. And I say, look, it's easy to gaslighting, just flaming these things. So that thing is also extended to children as well. What are my little experience working with children and listening their stories? What I feel like the people who are first generation here like us, now we have half a baggage from the back home, and we are learning how to be Australian. And our children are Australian, especially after COVID. Everybody talking about EQ now. They're emotionally much aware in education, and as well as in environment, as well as what you're doing is a great job to making awareness, because awareness is the first step that children talk about what they learn from school, where their mom and dad not aware of. Because when they got it inherited from male-dominated father, who's being called back, it's a fully dictator. We'll come in our home, and I share my story, my sisters, and we used to hide. And we immediately open books. So that thing where we don't have, the first step is talk about how I feel. We don't ask that question. We say, do this, and they want to say something. Tum to abhi bache ho. Overthinking. Don't say these things. Haram. This is guna. So we never let them a space to speak. Democracy is too far to talk about it. But we never consider children as a, for them it's like even 20 years, it's still a child, you don't know anything about it. What happens is, yes, what happens is, he start to find there are three options he has. He's gonna talk to people he trusts or he thinks they're happy to listen, mostly the friends.
Yes.
And the second option, he develops his own inner world online. I see kids, and immediately tell the parents he doesn't talk much. He said, how do you know? I said, look, I can see he's beautiful in computers and all that because he found a refuge place. You have some challenge, some problem with him. I don't say it because it's their private life. But I just say, look, it's affecting your child. So that's where it starts. The third one is they become part of the party. They start to inherit it as a normal life.
Yes.
So these are three options they have. So as a family, our responsibility to give them a space, sit down, we have tradition after Maghrib, or whenever they get together after dinner, we just ask. If you talk to your child in a car or something, how was your day? It was good. We need to go beyond that good. We want to know more detail. We let them open, and the most important thing, parents validate everything they say.
Yes.
And say, I've been there, I know, even you have lots of criticism or range of what they do, but first listen to them and say, look, I know what you feel, and your friends should not do that. So then they will tell you further. The moment you say, you must have done something wrong, they will shut down. And what will happen? They go to second two options.
I love that. I love that. Please validate your children, because if they're not validated, then they will actually coercively control someone else to get that validation that they didn't receive. So please tell us more.
Yeah, so what will happen? They start invalidate whatever you say, even the good. You know, our behavior as children, the moment you start, they open up ignore box and say, when they're gonna, inside they say, let them stop.
Lecture.
Nobody wants it. Even say, it's a bad expression, say, why are you lecturing me? Nobody wants it. People want conversation. Both way, equal level conversation. Our children, anybody above 10, 12, they are version 2.0 of us. They have much smarter brain. They're born here. Their education, their language, their awareness, they're born with this device. Whatever you say, and they I tell them anything, they talk to Gemini and say, look, and they one of the children came to me and said, look, anything somebody said to me which hurt me emotionally, I talk to Gemini and say, look, what should I do about it? And I talk to it to release my thing. So technology has a positive impact as well. So by conversating, I flush it out, because what she said, that overthinking, that makes God deeper and deeper and deeper. You need to flush it out in a positive way.
And how about leading by example? तो अगर हम घर का माहौल जो है, if we're not leading by example in terms of as parents, having healthy conversations, managing conflict in a healthy way, then how does that impact children, and where does that come in? Because बच्चे तो वही करेंगे ना जो देखेंगे.
Frankly speaking, I'm not one of those to hide. I recovered from, like Simone, recovered from 6-7 months of myself. I had a biological issue, my family is very, very supportive. And I am really proud to say that my children look after me. मुझे वो पाल रहे हैं. And I'm so proud. So if you start bit by bit, democratic environment, what will happen? You have kids who will, I only give example, they will be your engine that help you to fly, not these sinking sand bags. I always say to all the parents, every child is an 18 years old project. If we mess up, it's a lifelong project. Same thing, the first thing is have conversation. And then from there, understand their point of view. You are, after having children, 2 or 3, going to school, now we live for them. But if you think you own them, it's a wrong thing. First thing, we need to feel privileged that they came through you. Allah chose you to extend the life further. They are version 2.0. You only give the positive part of your life to them, not the negative side. Don't think they will be your budhape ka sahara. No. You will give them something, and the best bonding you have is they start with the unconditional love, freedom to speak, respect the boundaries as well. So if they see it, they'll give to their children as well.
Exactly.
It's not easy,
That's
but
right.
this is the way to go.
And I think, with the kids, when you say you're bonding, I think a parent should be a friend to your child first, because that's how I raised my kids. And now they're married and I'm a grandmother. So I'm proud and I say, wow, I can see he's such a great husband, he's a great man, great father. But I was always best friend of my children, that they were easy to come and talk to me. I never dictated them that I'm the mother, I know more than you. I was their best friend. I said, come and talk to me, So every parent has to be a best friend to their child, so the child can be so confident and open and have a shoulder to cry on, not to run around and find another shoulder to cry on.
Thank you, Maxine ji. And can I just get you to, I'm just going to go around again and just add sort of parting thoughts. तो अब अगर आप हमने पूरा conversation, it's come full circle. आपने बात की कि क्या होता है, क्या उसके signs होते हैं, क्या emotional impact होता है, किस तरह हम अपने बच्चों को रोकें. Can you just give us a bit of a summary, Dr. Yasmin, as to how important this conversation is and why we need to keep these discussions going?
जैसे कि शफकत साहब ने कहा, एटलीस्ट उसको पहचानना, अपने इर्द नेटवर्क पहचानना, ये बहुत ज़रूरी है कि आपका सेफ जोन कहाँ है. किसी का सेफ जोन जेमिनी है, किसी का सेफ जोन उसके पेरेंट्स नहीं हैं, उसके फ्रेंड्स हैं. अल्लाह करे वो सेफ हो. ऑस्ट्रेलिया के हवाले से आपके स्कूल में बहुत सेफ जोन्स हैं. आपके टीचर है, स्कूल काउंसलर है, कम्युनिटी में आपके फैमिली डॉक्टर है, साइकोलॉजिस्ट हैं. फिर आप एनीवे अपने सोशल नेटवर्क में देखें कि आपको कंफर्ट और कुछ अनकंडीशनल लव कहाँ मिलता है. जरूर मशवरा करें, रिफ्लेक्ट करें, क्योंकि हर रिश्ता तोड़ा नहीं जा सकता. पेरेंट्स का और बच्चों का रिश्ता तोड़ा नहीं जा सकता। शायद मियाँ बीवी में भी गैप आ सकता है और पेरेंट्स में भी आ सकता है, लेकिन तोड़ नहीं सकते। तो डेफिनेटली उन चीजों को पहचानना, कन्फ्रंट करना, जनरली एक नार्सिसिस्टिक पर्सन के लिए वो पहचानते ही नहीं। उन्होंने फिर कहना है कि प्रॉब्लम आप हैं, सोल्यूशन भी आप हैं। मैं बजाते खुद परफेक्ट हूँ, लेकिन उस बिहेवियर को पहचानना और फिर अपने इर्द गिर्द लाइन बनाना कि ऊंची आवाज में बात करना, डिसरिस्पेक्टफुली बात करना, इनवैलिडेट करना, गैसलाइटिंग करना, ये जो एटीट्यूड्स हैं, बिहेवियर्स हैं, ये अनएक्सेप्टेबल हैं। हाँ, अगर वो ट्रेंड चेंज ना हो, बहुत कम नार्सिसिस्टिक लोग एक्चुअली साइकोलॉजिस्ट के पास पहुंच जाते हैं और दुनिया में हमेशा से नार्सिसिस्टिक लोग हैं। कंप्यूटर्स की वजह से, कोविड की वजह से बस सब लोग सामने आ गए हैं। हर बंदा नार्सिसिस्टिक नहीं है, लेकिन सब में पोटेंशियल और ट्रेड्स जरूर हो सकते हैं, क्यों नहीं हो सकते। लेकिन जहाँ ट्रेंड्स हैं, अपने आप को सेफ करना, शायद वो सेफ्टी एक फिजिकल सेपरेशन है या एक मेंटल सेपरेशन है, जिसमें आप ये नहीं सॉरी, इस वक्त ये बिहेवियर नहीं चलेगा। बेशक वो आपके बच्चे हैं, आपके फ्रेंड्स हों, वो लैंग्वेज आपने डिसाइड करनी है कि आप ये कहें, सॉरी मेरी कॉल आ गई है, सॉरी मैं बिजी हो गई हूँ, ताकि एक्चुअली वो कॉन्वर्सेशन, वो बिहेवियर, वो मिसबिहेवियर उधर रुक जाए। और फिर जब मामला ठंडा हो, उसको पॉइंट आउट करना कि एक्चुअली ये लैंग्वेज, ये बिहेवियर और ये टारगेटिंग ये अनएक्सेप्टेबल है। इक्वालिटी और आप इज्जत दें और इज्जत लें हर रिश्ते में। आई गेस ये रिसोर्सेज आपकी कम्युनिटी में है, इस डायलॉग को जारी रखना बहुत ज़रूरी है, इसको पहचानना बहुत ज़रूरी है और अपने आप को कुरेदना बहुत ज़रूरी है। इंट्रोस्पेक्शन करना कि क्या इस एनकाउंटर में मैंने दिल आजारी तो नहीं की, क्या मैंने इसको कंट्रोल तो नहीं किया, और अगर किया उसको पहचान के गलती अपनी माने। जैसे शफकत साहब ने कहा कि it's okay to like not have all the answers, but it's also okay to engage and connect at the same level. We are not too big to apologize to our partner. We are not too big to apologize to our children, to our colleagues, to our co-workers. अगले को at a minimum human respect then. Thank you. Yes, we have some claps. I have to agree. That was wonderfully said. Can we get some parting thoughts from the remaining two panelists? So Maxime, can I get your last thoughts, and then we'll move on to Shafqatji before we wind up?
Well, I think as we all have come to the same, at the end we're coming to the same thing. We have to always remain positive. Positivity will make us get out of it. If because we feel we are isolated, if we do that, they will think this. You have to think that you have to be positive and you have to move forward. And we keep on moving forward, we can be successful. But we shouldn't be isolated and shouldn't, have a less self-esteem. So we have to be positive.
Thank you. Shafqat.
I think any positive change starts with awareness, what Dr. Yasmin said. And the awareness will start with the forums like this, because sometimes we are standing in the sun and we are sweating. We don't know what's the shade mean until somebody doesn't tell. So I always ask people, do you know what's a 2OI? And say, what is that? I say, second order of ignorance. I say, what is that? I say, what we don't know, we don't know. Somebody will tell us that we don't know that. So that's what we need to tell more. I still can't pronounce that word, which you guys keep saying. I know the Putpasandi. And what she said, I become, as I said, student of my children, because I learned that they know much more, but there's nothing wrong with it. To apologize and say with it, I enjoy it because I feel like if I don't say them up, they will not say to other people up, and they won't say me to up. What you said, like for example, some people say, oh, what she said, we need to be friends. Some say, oh, father can't be friend, but we don't have other choice. You can to achieve certain level, but to say, look, I can be dictator and they still with me, no. So with your children, same thing, make them aware and ask them to be aware of these things and discuss openly and give them, as I said, the moment they feel comfort zone, you're listening to them. And then you validate whatever they say, but only think what I can implement step by step, what they want, and if they saying good. Because everything they saying you can't implement anyway. But sometimes there's something saying you think is not, reasonably can be done. So beside that, I suggest practically one thing to every parent: make use of post-Maghrib gathering, because mostly it's after work and normally dinner. So we have good 30 to 40 minutes. And after Maghrib, everybody is having a soft heart, happy to listen. And we just finish a prayer and say, Dad, can I say something? So just have that. And otherwise, this conversation never going to get started.
Wonderful. So, what a beautiful discussion today. बस ये याद रखें कि आप दूसरों को नहीं बदल सकते. आप पूरी जिंदगी निकाल देंगे, लेकिन you will not be able to change other people. If you really want to be able to manage your relationships, then you must change yourself. And it starts with healing. तो जहाँ आपको लगता है, आपने महसूस किया है कि हाँ, शायद ये बंदा या बंदी जो है मेरे लिए they're not the best for me, ये basically behavior is toxic हैं, or if you feel that you are someone that's a victim of abuse, please know that you're not alone. Please know that you should reach out to your medical professional, to your community, to your extended family members, as Dr. Yasmin said, that are safe, so that you can learn to create those boundaries through healing. आप जब अपने आप को कमजोर नहीं समझेंगे, आप जब अपने आप को ऐसे positions में constantly नहीं डालेंगे जहाँ you are undermined, oppressed, and made to feel worthless, it starts from building yourself. Because narcissists hate people who are empowered. वो उन्हीं के पीछे जाते हैं जो कमजोर हैं. So let's just start with this journey with healing. Thank you so much to our wonderful panelists today. And I won't actually end it just yet. Obviously, by cultivating this reflection, it's so important that we recognize the harmful patterns, we set those firm boundaries, and success other. Let's reclaim our self-worth. You're worthy. L'Oreal Naseka, you're worth it. So before we end, I'm going to take a moment to offer a heartfelt thank you to Ali and Amreen, who are the organizers of Ramadan Shopping Festival for the past 6 years. This event brings together people creating a joyful atmosphere for not just children, but a space for us to prepare for Eid, a place that we can actually break fast with loved ones. And at its core, through this festival, we actually are strengthening and building community ties. And through a forum like this and a conversation like this, the first of its kind, Ali and Amreen Bhai, Ali Bhai and Amreen Ji are giving a voice to the real issues that people face behind closed doors, naming them, creating this vital platform for healing and change. Thanks everyone for your time today.
Thank you.